Everyone was taken aback by the Shiba Inu. We have found a huge breakthrough. And yeah, burns aren't the only thing. Everything could be altered by this. The penny price may no longer be a pipe dream. We are all starting to wake up as a group. The whales are in motion. We are witnessing a surge in Shibarium. As for the reality, maybe it's not as complicated as we imagined. This is going to shock you. However, I don't understand. Okay, I'll try to clarify. Important notice. Today the Shiba Inu community celebrated a major milestone. People have long held the belief that aggressive token burns were the one viable option for Shiba Inu to ever reach 1 penny. And I completely get that. Token burning has always been a huge deal for the community. There was a constant sense that the price may approach that ideal level with each burn. The Shiba Inu warriors have always prioritized burn prevention. The method, the issue and the aim all revolved around it. Increase your burning rate. And what's more, we could succeed, because of how firmly that concept took root. It practically became the center of attention. Other potential outcomes and processes were hardly mentioned. All other sounds seemed to fade into the background. Allow me to explain, that line of reasoning may have been totally wrong. It turns out, recently some surprising information has surfaced. As all eyes were fixed on the burns, a subtle change was occurring behind the scenes. In fact, this recent finding may hold the secret to finally getting to 1 cent. Surprisingly, it's not the burns. As we had all assumed, something monumental was revealed just today. The Shiba Inu's involvement with whales increased by 228%. I agree with that. Massive changes occurred suddenly. Whales are transferring and accumulating massive amounts of Shiba Inu. Everyone in the neighborhood became very animated the moment word of this spread. Suddenly, everyone was inquiring about the same thing. Will something happen soon? Frankly, I could see them being correct. Something major may be around the corner if there is such an abrupt uptick in activity. Something that has been overlooked amidst the discussions over burns and price decreases. This is mostly due to a new discovery on the significant progress made in the Shiba Inu ecosystem towards the 1 penny goal, and that major finding will be revealed shortly. However, before we delve into today's major reveal, there's something crucial to grasp in order to have a complete understanding. Shiba Inu, like many other cryptocurrency assets, hasn't exactly been living up to expectations despite the industry's recent growth and excitement. The majority of Shiba Inu owners had anticipated a far higher price by now, given the recent market events, particularly the bullish trend. Instead, it's simply not progressing as planned. To be very honest, it's annoying. We seem to have been patiently waiting for an eternity, but it seems like nothing is happening. The fact that politically speaking crypto in general has begun to look up just adds to the confusion. The United States government has been actively supporting cryptocurrency since Donald Trump took office. They are making efforts to establish transparent and equitable regulations for the area, that which has long been desired. When the SEC publicly stated that Shiba Inu and other meme coins are not securities, it was a big step forward. Back then, that made headlines. Many people felt, all right, this is it, the Shiba Inu is about to soar. However, it was not the case. Shiba Inu is still failing to provide, despite the favorable change in regulations, and it's currently resting at 10% lower than it was a week ago. We can see a decline of about 60% from its peak on December 8th. That is difficult. It is bothersome. I must admit, it's annoying. Shiba Inu still hasn't caught up despite the community's backing, the burns and the regulatory victories. And things are starting to heat up now. Everything, though, is about to alter. This isn't simply about the major development using Shiba Inu pennies. A far larger event is transpiring. All opinions about Shiba Inus are beginning to change. A new wave is forming, and it's unlike anything that has come before. Do you see? The bad things tend to take center stage. Dissatisfaction sets in when prices decline or remain unchanged. What isn't working is our main emphasis. When excellent things are actually happening, we begin to believe the opposite. that way of thinking. It might be misguided to view Shiba Inus in that light. Just when everyone was fixating on the negative, something substantial and encouraging has been subtly progressing. Shiba Inu, the blockchain developed by Shiba Inus, has just had a 54% increase in transactions, adding to today's enormous whale rise. It's not random, that increase is enormous. It's indicative of people getting back on their feet. Things are heating up, and the focus is squarely back on Shiba Inus. It becomes intriguing at this point. Some Shiba Inu fans aren't giving up hope despite the latest price drop, continuing to hold out hope that Shiba Inu could eventually reach that penny amount. Let us go through each of the many advocates and detractors. Now I'll just offer you some advice. A major finding that lends even more credence to the proponents' idea was made public today. First, we have the naysayers. To put it in context, the current price of a Shiba Inu would have to increase by an incredible 75,000% to reach that level. Wow, that is very massive. The market capitalization would need to be close to $5.89 trillion. If this occurred using the present supply of $589 trillion tokens. Lucy, who heads up marketing for Shiba Inus, has spoken out, stating that she thinks reaching 1 cent is still doable. However, there are some who have a different opinion. Unless Shiba Inus undergo severe violent burns that drastically reduce their supply, many detractors argue, the goal is simply not achievable. However, things start to get intriguing at this point. A new option, one that does not depend on burns alone, is being proposed by some. If Shiba Inu maintains its tight relationship to Bitcoin and rides the wave of Bitcoin's massive price increase, they predict it might reach 1 penny. Additionally, Into the Block data shows that Shiba Inu has been displaying a high correlation with Bitcoin as of late. The last 30 days have shown a correlation of 92%. That's really height related. Furthermore, the missing piece of the puzzle is this. This finding alters the course of events. We have been stuck believing that burns are our only option for such a long period. However, a new development has emerged, something which is now underway. It may not be as difficult to reach 1 penny as we initially believed if Bitcoin's value surges, and Shiba Inu keeps following its example at this rate. The significance of this is really basic, yet potent. The value of Shiba Inus could increase dramatically if the price of Bitcoin were to surge. Now we get to the thrilling part. During significant runs, Shiba Inu has consistently outperformed Bitcoin. Shiba Inu's value might skyrocket if Bitcoin's value even slightly rises. That could be the break that finally allows Shiba Inus to reach their long-awaited penny goal. Obviously, a lot of things would have to fall into place for that to be possible. Given the present supply, the market capitalization of Shiba Inu would be around $5.89 trillion if it were to ever reach 1 penny. However, this does not imply that Bitcoin must lag behind. Indeed, all Bitcoin needs to maintain its status as the leading cryptocurrency is a market worth greater than $5.89 trillion. As an example, consider the value of 1 Bitcoin at $296,000 if the cryptocurrency reaches the $5.89 trillion mark. Bitcoin would be worth around $593,000 a coin if its value doubled, and its